Raiders of the Lost Ark is a complete story,
Yep.
and everyone loved it, and you identify with it, and you go back to it time and time again, and it only took under 2 hours to tell that story.
Yes.
You don't need a
So
thousand
crazy.
pages.
When I recently did a rewatch on it, my wife had never seen the Indiana Jones films.
Oh wow.
And we started watching Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I'm like, I queue it up. I'm like, wait, this is sub 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's so shocking because I think of all these beautiful vistas locations. I don't feel like Spielberg ever cuts you faster than you need to be. And
No.
we're not rushing, and yet the plot is complete. The visuals are stunning, and it's just an enjoyable romp.
There's a moment in that eventually, if my wife has her way, when I get too old to do anything, I'm gonna go teach film at some small New England university. So here's my pitch to that, and one of the first things that I'm going to teach, if I teach film editing, especially, or story structure, there is a moment in the first Raiders film that is a master class in one edit of
Hmm.
efficient storytelling. Is he's just been through, it's like kind of midway through the film, he's just been through this, epic scene where he almost dies and everything, and but now they've lost the ark. It's been put on a truck, and now the ark is driving away. It's that silhouetted shot where he's in a tent and they come to tell him, like, oh, the ark got away. They put it on a truck, and he just goes, "What truck?" Hard cut to truck on the road. Indy's pulling up. There's a massive time jump,
Hmm.
but that's all. That little moment in the tent is the breath the audience needs between this incredibly tense moment before
Hmm.
and what then becomes one of the greatest stunt action sequences in film history, where he
Yes.
has to go under the truck and he climbs in the front and he punches I mean, that is just a masterclass in stunt action, but it's also the audience, get your heart rate back up, and you need that little pause, that little breath, but
Hmm.
you also don't need more than that. And just what truck? No one has to answer him because we already know. And it's just look at that hard cut too, and know that's what you want. Like when you get to the end of a chapter, what truck? End your chapter there. Turn the
Hmm.
page. We're already on the road. Like that's how to keep the pace up for your audience as a reader as well as in a film.
I was listening to a past interview you did, and you'd made a comment about in editing, it's you want to come into the scene as late as you can, and
Yes.
you want to leave it as early as you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
It's an interesting
you may have
storytelling
changed the way
technique.
that I write forever. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. It's a great storytelling technique in terms of, you know, trusting the audience that you it's very hard to completely lose an audience, as far as, like, you turn the page, or like you start a scene. Okay, I'll back up. Like, if you do watch the sort of the progression of this kind of efficient storytelling, if you watch, I watch a ton of sort of mid-century films. So you watch something from the
Hmm.
40s,
Hmm.
someone will leave a scene, they'll get in a car, they'll open the car door, they'll close the car door, the car will pull away,
Hmm.
dissolve to the street. You'll see the car pull up, they'll open the door, they'll shut the door, they'll walk up the walk, they'll knock on the door.
Hmm.
All of that is unnecessary in the end. And it got to a point, you started seeing it more. It came in the, like, the 60s and 70s, where you would get that thing of, like, we need to go talk to that guy. Yeah, you're right, we do. Hard cut to hand knocks on the door. The audience was not confused. They still know
Hmm.
where they are. That you've led them to that next cut. And I think, writing wise, if you're in the revision process, I think most writers would do very well to look at those moments of, well, do I need this? And leading off with, I want to know more, is a good thing,
Hmm.
rather than, well, I need to tell the audience more because they want to know more. No, they want to know more of what happens next. They don't want to know the connecting tissue between that. So I think it's again, it's that idea of, like, you want that chapter end to lead you to the next chapter. If you answer all the questions and get them in the car and turn the key and see them pull away from the curb, that's kind of a soft landing.
Hmm.
But if you just tighten up all of those moments, the audience will still be there. They won't be lost. They won't be confused. And you've kept up the pace in a way that they can fill in those gaps. Because I think the other thing too, not to get too in the weeds about it, but if you think about a film, it's a series of still images,
Hmm.
and it's only the projection of those at 24 frames a second that we're filling in the gaps. We're seeing still pictures,
Hmm.
and your brain is pre-wired to fill in those gaps for that visual image, and you take it all in. So I think reading really goes a lot of the same way. Like if you're on the page and you're visualizing the story and you're understanding the character motivations,
Hmm.
if you've done a good job at that, wherever you go next, I'm in because I'm with that character.
Hmm.